different or facing fear, difficult decisions, things like that. Comic books to say, here are superhero comics to bring in and connect with people. I teach at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, and where I've taught geek culture and therapy, which is a class where we look at video games, comic books, fantasy, sci-fi, you name it. If it's geeky, we're going to examine whether it's useful in therapy and study geek culture. And I think that's about it. Oh, I have a history of working with teens and young adults, mostly young boys, from severe mental illness to budding criminals to kids who are doing great and just need a little bit of help. So that's a bit about me and my history.
All right. How many of you out there know what Wonder Woman has to do with psychology? A few hands. What? Someone who raised their hand.
She was created by a psychologist?
She was created by a psychologist at the suggestion of his wife, a psychologist.
And a lawyer.
Huh?
And a lawyer.
And they both had degrees in law. They both had advanced degrees in psychology. He had the doctorate, she had the master's. Back then you could say master's level.
She had 3 degrees by that point.
Yeah.
Which was amazing for a woman of that time.
Mm-hmm. And what was her name? Oh. It starts with an E. Elizabeth.
Nice.
Elizabeth what? It starts with an H. Ends with Holloway. There we go. Holloway. Elizabeth Holloway.
No. I remember that name, so I have to really
You notice I named her first. William Moulton Marston. Now, before he became the creator of Wonder Woman, what was he best known for?
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Lie detector.
Lie detector. He was often referred to as the inventor of the lie detector. Panelists, is this an appropriate description?
No.
Why not? I saw somebody tell you on Twitter that it was.
Yeah, that was a fun argument. To them it was an argument. No, he developed a device which looked at blood pressure and as a way of testing for honesty and such. And while it was in the same vein as the lie detector, it's different technology. The actual guys who created what we consider to be the polygraph actually dismissed Marston as going for research in the wrong direction. So it's in the same family, it was trying to accomplish the same thing. It is not the polygraph, it is not what we consider the lie detector.
Polygraph, multiple measurements.
Right.
And some of what he was getting at, they're based on the same assumptions.
Yes.
Some of the things part of the poly, but there's a lot more to it. But he's very frequently referred to as the inventor of the lie detector. The first time I ever saw him referred to as that was at the end of a Wonder Woman comic.
Right. I mean, he was part of that research, absolutely. But he's not the guy who did, that device.
One reason that he gets the attention is because he was part of a very well-known court case,
right,
in which he was brought in to show the methods he was using for lie detection. But that's the court case in which they ultimately decided lie detection should not be used in court. So it's thanks to his work that they decided early on, lie detector should not be admissible in court.
We do still use it in treatment, though. In parole and probation, specifically, it's part of the supervision. So they will use it while an offender is on probation or parole, and it's part of their treatment. They go in initially, they do a polygraph, they do another one a couple months later, a year later, and you see how it differs, and then they kind of call you on it and be like, dude, you lied. So we do use it, but we don't have, it's not court admissible.
Right.
And a lot of it's a bit of show, of convincing them that this is telling us this, to see if it can get something out of it.
Look at that line. Oh, it's a bad line.
So he had an important place in that.
Yes.
And he developed something called DISC, which stood for words that he really liked. Which some people are still using therapeutically for assessing clients and determining some things having to do with treatment.